Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Hope you had a good day. Thank you again for joining. And before I start, please like, share. If you'd already subscribed, just keep liking each videos and sharing them out. Also, for those of you who are coming in for the first time, welcome, 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 welcome. I appreciate your support. Please subscribe, like, share, send Home Care Queen TV to someone. Send it to someone. I am Muriel Melville, and yes, I am your queen of home care and the host of the channel. Now, tonight's topic, I know I sent out some tweets today, and on Facebook, I put up a topic that I was going to discuss, but for some reason, I had to change it. I had to change the topic. And as you know, I've said it before, when topics come to me, I put away my agenda and I address person's interests. So, if you have been following me or if you have watched most of my video from the beginning, in several weeks ago in the video, in one episode, I talked about being proud in the caregiving field. I was asked to talk about it a little more. I was asked to talk about it a little more. So tonight, we're going to spend some time encouraging and supporting and standing with you in being proud as a caregiver. I am the new face of caregiving. This is what caregiving looks like in 2023. I've said before that the idea that this job is for uneducated people who cannot find a job and have no other way out. That is not true. That is not true. There are families out there that do not want their loved ones in facilities and they want to have them at home so they could continue the natural process of their life as much as they can, and they want to be there to love on their family. So you are needed. So having confidence and trust in yourself and being proud speaks volume. It speaks volume. Being authentically you in this career, it speaks volume. Because the people that you're going to meet or the individuals that you're going to meet are from different socioeconomic background, different culture. So it opens you to get to know people who you would have never probably met. Socialites, people, you know, doctors, lawyers, nurses, teachers, the housekeeper, the housewife, that you wouldn't have been able to meet them in such an intimate environment. Spending time in the person's home, that's a gift for you. So owning it and being proud of it does a lot. It says a lot. Now, why am I talking about this? I'm talking about it because so many texts have come in. Please address caregivers that has this need and nursing assistants that has this need to call themselves a nurse. It's really, really, really annoying. And nurses don't like it. They spend a lot of time studying. They spent a lot of time, a lot of years. And they want their profession to be respected. They want it to be respected. And yes, it is disrespect. When you take on a title that you don't have the education or the experience, you're not a nurse. I'm sorry. I don't want to disappoint anyone, but you're not a nurse. You're a certified licensed nursing assistant in the state of Arizona. Nursing assistants are licensed, and caregivers are certified. Own it. You took the class. You took the class. You have the certificate. You have the license that says you're a nursing assistant. You're a caregiver. You know, one of the most common thing I've heard in the last couple of weeks that people have been saying to me, you meet someone and you're talking and you're having such a good time at the store, at wherever you socialize. And you say, what do you do? And the person says, you're a nurse. And I've had that experience. And silly me, the first question I ask is, what college did you attend? And then you hear, well, I work in a nursing home. I'm a caregiver. So own it. Own it. Own it. Walk in your purpose. And if you have the desire, if you have the desire, if you have the desire to be a caregiver, to be a nurse, move forward with it. Move forward it, because believe it or not, when you have a basic experience of a career, you end up being a better employee, a better co-worker, because when you start from the bottom up, you understand the journey. Not to say that people who don't start as a caregiver don't understand the journey, but there's a difference. There is a difference. There is a difference in behavior and how you're treated, how you treat the person who is a caregiver when you're a nurse. There's a difference because you have climbed the ladder and you know what it took. So it's okay if your desire is to be a nurse, but right now, you're a proud caregiver or nursing assistant, and own it. Because here's what happens when we are not intentional about the things we do. Here's what happens. In your head, you're saying you're a nurse. On paper, you're a caregiver. Your job description says caregiving. And something happens with your client slash patient. If you're in the nursing home or the hospital, in the nursing home and the hospital, it tends not to happen as much because there are protocols. And if you don't follow them, it can cost you your job. But in the home, where you're there and the gray area is so close, if in your mind you're a nurse and an emergency happens with the patient, you can do the wrong thing. If you work for an agency, they have protocols. And if you don't follow the protocol, you can do the wrong thing, endanger the patient, client, probably, and put yourself at risk of losing your job. because you unconsciously you've been telling yourself you're a nurse. So when something happens, you overstep your boundaries and your scope of practice. You're no longer in the mode of a caregiver. You're trying to do things that you have no reason to do because you don't have the expertise for it. And then when you get in trouble, I was just trying to help. Yes, but you weren't assisting in the scope that you should. And the other thing is, too, remember the experience I noted before? The individual, we were having a good time, and then I said, "What do you do?" And they said, "I'm a nurse." Her whole body language changed when she dipped down and said, "I'm a caregiver." That excitement that she had when she said she was a nurse diminished once she said caregiver. There is nothing wrong in being a caregiver. There is nothing wrong with it. Be proud of it. Embrace it. Walk in it. Walk in it. Own it. Wear that t shirt. Wear the t shirt. Because it's not a bad t shirt to wear. It's not a bad t shirt to wear. Wear the t shirt. And when you walk in your authentic purpose on the job and own who you are and your title and your responsibilities, the mistakes are less. The mistakes are less because you know what? I'm the home care queen, but I'm also the queen of pushing it to the right person. I am the first person to call, and I have the experience and the background. I had the experience and the background of a professional that I could make certain decisions as a caregiver. But because I remembered the scope I'm working in and my boundaries, now if it's something that if I did A, it will save the client's life, that's a different thing. Writing my notes, and I'll talk about that in another episode. Writing my notes, I can be clear and precise without emotion because I have the education and the experience to do that. But when it comes on to the physicality of the job, when it comes on to knowing what procedures I am supposed to do and what I'm not supposed to do, I was clear. And I'm a professional that worked in that position as a caregiver. I was clear in what my duties were. And can I tell you another thing? It's less stressful. When you don't take on responsibilities that are not yours, delegate it to the right chain. Then you don't have to stress. You go home and you know the client is going to be okay, but the rest of it will be taken care of by the right professional. It will be taken care of by the right professional. Wearing a scrub does not make you a nurse. It's just a garment. Wearing a scrub does not make you a nurse. It's a garment. Wear it proudly as a caregiver. Wear it proudly as a caregiver. Wear it proudly as a caregiver. It does not make you a nurse. And also, here's another thing that can happen. Here's another thing that can happen. Your coworkers. Your co-workers, the person you're changing shift with in the home. When you start to behave like a nurse, then you become demanding and commanding, telling your other co-worker what to do, not allowing them to think for themselves and to use the skills that they have attained, because you're Miss Know It All. You're Miss Know It All. So everything they do, you find a way to criticize what they do. Well, this is not how I put her to sit up. This is not how I shower her. This is not how I shower her. And I hinted on this in a few episodes back. Then you start calling them, texting them, telling them what to do. Oh, I'm off tomorrow, so you could do this, and you could make her eggs, and you could make her. Let them decide. They're with the client. They and the client will decide what they have. They will decide how to go about their days with the client. They have a supervisor. They have a supervisor, or they have a family member to guide them. So when you're off, be off. Be off. It's not your day to work. It's not your day to work. Don't show up there. Pardon me. Don't show up there and says, I've been working with them for 3 months. I've been working with them for 3 months and I'm in the area, so I just drop in. No, you're not the nurse. You're not the visiting nurse. You're not the nursing supervisor. You're not the nursing supervisor. And when you get back to work, this, for example, this person has done a night shift and they had a difficult night. You don't know that because you just stepped in the room. And I have seen this happen and I've heard about it also. And you step in the room and you go, you can leave now. No, no. You just slept all night and the person has been there working. And because you think you're a nurse, you walk in with this attitude that you don't have to listen to them and you don't have to greet them properly. You just walk in, you don't ask, how is your night? How was your night? And show some empathy. Yes, they're working just like you. But as I said in other episodes in dealing with the night shift, the body was made to rest at night. So night work is hard. So after you have had your wonderful beauty sleep and you come on, Miss Nurse, and you dismiss the person who has been there all night, you're a caregiver. You're a caregiver. And this has happened too many times. And your coworkers are frustrated with you about it. And then you don't form a relationship with them. You don't form a working relationship with them because you're a nurse. Owned your craft. Owned your craft. Owned your craft. Be proud of it. That's what pays your bills. That's what takes care of your family. Own it. Be proud of it. Push your shoulders back, head up, and own it, and be tactful and respectful to the persons you work with. You're on the same level. You're all a caregiver. Yes, you might have been at it for 5 years and they're just coming. But can I tell you something? Just like how things change every day. You go to this, you went to the store yesterday and eggs were $3.99 a dozen. Today they're almost $11 a dozen. So things change. So even though you've been working for 40, 50, 90 years as a caregiver, and this person is new, and you think that because you've been working with the client and so long that you're a nurse, this person has gained some nuggets, some new nuggets that are happening in the home care arena and the elder care arena that you probably are not up to date with. And if you step out of your ego as a nurse and walk into humility as a caregiver, you can learn something from a new caregiver. You can learn something because things have changed. Back in the day, you have to sit there and pump the blood pressure machine, and sometimes we have to use those machines, so they're still around. But for the most part, everything is digital. Everything is digital. And if you work in a nursing home and you work in the rehab centers, then you know. Even taking notes is on an iPad or a portable computer. So things has changed since you have been working. So there's no need to wear a hat that doesn't fit. Wear the one that fit so that the work environment can be better. And be proud so you can form relationships. You can form relationships. You can form relationships. And even the family. If you ever experience this, and I know caregivers out there have, where the person that works before you presented themselves in their behavior and the way they care for the client that they're a nurse, the family don't like it because then it confuses them when to call for help. So they rather know that I hired a caregiver and the clients know, they know your scope of practice. They do. They know what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. And when they need your assistance, because you're so comfortable in your skin as a caregiver, they're more open to ask you, can you help me with this catheter? Is it allowed? And that's the word they use. Are you allowed to do this? Could you help me? But when you present yourself like you're a nurse and you decide to do tasks that you have no right doing, and the person gets an infection or something happens to them, you get the blame. You get the blame. When we walk in our lane and we be authentic and honest, because yes, it's honesty to hone your profession. It lends for a better relationship across the board, across the board, across the board. Let the staff who is experienced and educated, let them do their job and you do yours. Let them do their job and you do yours. It's a nice ring. It's a very nice ring. I have so much family members and friends that are nurses. And I love and respect them just like I love and respect family members who are accountants and lawyers and doctors and stay-home moms. So there's a space for all of us. And when we take our space, we're a better person. We're a better person. And we don't become overbearing and obnoxious. You hear people say, "Oh, I can't stand working with her. I can't stand working with her because she never lets me do my work. She's always telling me what to do." And when you're always telling, and that's one of my pet peeve, when people are always telling me what to do, it really, really does something to my spirit because I want to use my brain. I want to think. I want to problem solve. And if you're constantly at my back saying, "Oh, I do it this way and I do it that way," well, good for you. Good for you. Let me learn my rhythm. Let me learn my way. I'm glad you did it that way. I'm glad you did it that way. Can you imagine? I believe that one of the most precious, precious, precious thing, more than money, more than class, more than houses, more than big cars, is your family. And here you are meeting someone who is entrusting their family member in your care. They're entrusting them in your care. That's an honorable position to be in. It's an honorable position to be in. That someone is entrusting, especially working as a private, that they're trusting. When you work for the agency, they can say, well, I trust the agency, because I've heard that so much. I've read so much good things about the agency that I trust them, that this caregiver is a caregiver that can meet my needs. But when you work privately and they search you out and they find you and you do what you, pardon me, you do what you need to do and they hire you, it's they trust you. In the scope of a caregiver, they know that you will be there to take care of their family and you won't take chances. Like and share, like and share, like and share. Please, those of you that are watching for the first time, please subscribe and like and share. Thank you. So, owning this job, owning your position as a caregiver in a home, it brings the joy that you won't get from some family, the thank yous that so many people are looking for. And one of the reasons I believe, and this is just my belief, that it could be alleged that some of the difficulties that we have with families is because of the confusion that happens in care, and maybe they don't want to talk about it. Stay on the path. Caregiving is a respectable, it's a respectable job to have. Be proud. Be proud. Be proud. Because when we are confident, when we are secure in who we are and the work that we do, it really, it has a ripple effect. The person that you're working with can say, oh boy, she's so nice to work with. She's so nice to work with. If there's a mistake and she corrects me, she does it so nice. But when you come in like you're the chief officer of the no box committee, because you don't have a box as a nurse, it really hurts. It really hurts. It really hurts. Everyone can learn from someone. Everyone. And when we give people our authentic self, and when we work in our titles, people can learn from you without you even opening your mouth, by watching the way you do things. By watching the way you do things, how you hold the person, how you talk to the person. Why? Because you're comfortable in the position you're in. So, as I always say, you're needed. And this is why I'm here, to encourage you. This is not criticism. Or if you feel like it is, I hope you realize it's a positive criticism to push you forward. Wear that t shirt. Wear it, own it. I am a proud caregiver and I work at X. I take care of X. Own it. Because when you own it, it shows and it builds you up without you have to advertise at the job. Remember to like, share, subscribe. I need your support. I need your support. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. And even if it's not a friend, just tell somebody. Tell somebody. Because the goal of this channel is to empower, support, and encourage. Thanks for watching. This has been Home Care Queen TV, and I am your proud host, Muriel Melville.